That chocolate rabbit is a serial killer. The signs were there all along, we just all ignored it. So yeah, let's talk about the Nestle formula scandal. In the 1970s, Nestle started aggressively marketing infant formula across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. When I say aggressively, I mean they sent sales representatives into hospitals dressed as nurses. These women would walk into maternity wards and hand out free samples of formula to new mothers along with pamphlets. They convinced the mothers that the formula was just as good as breast milk, sometimes better. In some cases, they even visited the mothers at home after they left the hospital to make sure they were still using the product. Now, here's the thing about breastfeeding. If a nursing mother stops doing it for an extended period, her titties stop producing milk. The free samples that the fake nurses handed out lasted just long enough for the mother to naturally stop producing. So once the calcium tap ran dry, the mothers had no choice but to buy more Nestle formula. So they were forced to water it down to make it last longer, which meant the babies weren't getting enough nutrients. And in a lot of these communities, the water itself wasn't clean. So they would either use dirty water, which would endanger the babies even more, or they would have to buy water bottles from Nestle. That's a whole other rabbit hole we'll get into in a second. So I don't think I need to spell out what happened next. The backlash was massive. In 1977, activists launched an international boycott against Nestle that became one of the most famous corporate boycotts in history. It spread across multiple countries and lasted years. The whole thing got so bad that the World Health Organization stepped in and created an entire international code of marketing breast milk substitutes. And while these rules were being set, Nestle was branching out from child killing to child slavery. In 2021, the U.S. Supreme Court heard a case involving allegations that Nestle had aided and abetted forced child labor on cocoa farms in the Ivory Coast. So we're talking about kids as young as 11 being trafficked from neighboring countries to work on these farms, allegedly. The plaintiffs argued that Nestle's financial support and purchasing agreement with these farms made them complicit. Eventually, the Supreme Court dismissed the case, but not because they said the child slavery wasn't happening, just because they said it couldn't be tried in America since Nestle is a French company and this was happening in Africa. But that didn't stop Nestle from using these dismissals as evidence that they did nothing wrong. So while they didn't get punished legally, the slavery thing was definitely not good PR. Nestle promised to take steps to reduce their dependence on slave chocolate and slapped a fair trade label on some of their chocolate bars, which was a guarantee that slavery was not used in the chocolate supply chain of that particular product. Not all their chocolate has this label on it, and I'll let you figure out why that is. Okay, but to their credit, they have definitely reduced the amount of slavery in their supply chain, but I mean, oh, we only have some slaves now. It's kind of like a guy going on trial for murdering 17 people and his defense is, well, but Your Honor, I only killed 2 people. Is the judge going to say, oh, yeah, you only killed 2 people? Well, that's better than 17, I guess.